Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2019 Honda Fit, we're going to be showing you how to install the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring harness. Before we do that though, let's take a minute, we'll check this out and make sure it's going to work for you. So with the Honda Fit, definitely not the first vehicle that comes to mind for heavy duty towing and things like that. But you know, for those of you out there maybe trying to pull around a small lightweight trailer, maybe for kayaks or your lawn tractor or something, that's where a wiring kit's going to come into play. Or even for those of you using accessories, right? Now a lot of these cargo carriers and some bike racks and stuff will have lights on them that you can illuminate. And a kit like this will work out just fine. So the way we have it set up on our Honda here today, it actually lives on the inside, all right? Which I like because you're probably not going to be towing all the time or using this all the time. So having it in here, it's out of sight, out of the weather. But when you're ready to use it, you can open up your storage compartment there. You have more than enough length here. Just drape it over your threshold. Avoid the latch. Don't want to get it hung up in there. And you'll just close the hatch on it. It might seem kind of odd doing that, but you're not going to hurt the wiring. You're not going to hurt your vehicle. Nothing along those lines. And we'll have the connection that we need to plug in. And this is going to be a 4-way flat type connector. It's extremely common, and you'll get your taillight signal, your brake lights, and your turn signals. Other than that, not a whole lot to it, you know. So if you need those signals to get sent back to trailer lights or the lights on your accessory, you know, this will get the job done. As far as the installation goes, it's really not too bad, believe it or not. With it being custom fit, you know, you don't have to splice or chop into any factory wiring, nothing along those lines. You do remove the tail lights, and the connectors will tee in, plug right into those, and that's how they pick up the signals from your Honda. The most time-consuming part will just be routing. You have to route a power wire from the back to the front, hook it up to the battery. But even then, pretty small vehicle, you know, so don't have to get too carried away with it. Now, if this is something, you know, you don't feel like messing with or have the time or place to work on it, I definitely understand that. You can always use our dealer locator network, and that can help you find a shop in your neighborhood that can do something like this for you. So something to keep in mind there. But if you're going to do this, you know, at home, feel free to follow along. We'll go ahead and get started on it now. To begin our install, we're going to be at the back of our Fit, and we need to open up our rear hatch because we're going to be working inside a little bit. And we're just going to remove our floor coverings here. So these will just pull right out. You have this foam compartment. You can go ahead and pull that out of position as well. Set it off to the side, and then we're going to have this threshold piece here. And with this, you should be able to just kind of grab up on the corner of it and pop it free. All it is, there's just a couple of these push pin style fasteners holding it in place. So with this free, we'll get it out of our way. We can pop this panel free now and make it easier. About halfway up, if you have a trim tool or something like this, you kind of get in behind here and start to release it. There's just those little fasteners like the threshold had. So you don't have to go, you know, you don't have to completely remove it. Just get it to about this point and you're good. And you're going to want to do this to the passenger side as well. We're able to remove our taillight now, and there's just two 8mm head screws holding it in. So we'll loosen them up. And we should be able to just kind of grab our taillight, pull straight back on it, and then we can disconnect it. So there's just these little tabs here, and when you push down on that tab, you're able to pull it free. And we'll set our light off to the side, do the same thing to get the other one removed. Over here on the driver's side, you have this little rubber grommet, and you can just pull on it like that to release it. And what you can do is take your new wiring harness, and on one end you'll have a yellow T connector and then a red and brown T connector. And this white wire here with the pre-attached ring terminal, that'll be kind of just, you know, stuck to the other wires. Go ahead and just peel that free like that. And you can take your T connectors now, come in from behind the panel and push them through the opening here. And these are going to plug in to the factory harness and eventually into the back of the tail light. We'll go to this connector. You can't really mess these up, you know, all these ends are different. So if it's not plugging in, you probably got the wrong side there. This one will get plugged in like that. And once we're ready to get the taillights back on, these will plug into the taillight. But what you want to do is take this rubber grommet and very carefully cut a slit in it. All right, just be sure you don't cut your factory wires on accident. Then you can do one of these deals, put the wiring into the grommet. We'll just push that back in place. Once you have that in there and everything, the kit is going to come included with some of the silicone. And what you want to do is just put some where you cut. That way it'll stay all sealed up and everything. We're ready to grab our tail light now. And all of our connections are just going to get plugged back in. And then we can just reinstall this the opposite way that we removed it. Moving inside the vehicle now, on our driver's side still, we have our white wire with that ring terminal on it. That's going to be our ground. Turns out there's a factory ground right here, so we're going to utilize that. And just remove that bolt with a 10mm socket. And then take that bolt, put it through the ring terminal. Back through all those factory grounds. Make sure it's all lined up and everything here. And just go ahead and tighten it back down. We can take our green wire now. This is going to get routed to the passenger side. I just have it loosely routed over here now. We'll come back at the end and secure it and everything, but it goes behind our panel. And just like we did over on the driver's side, I did over here too. Pushed it through our grommet, cut a little slice in it there, put our silicone in there, plugged the one end into the factory harness, and now we're ready to plug our light back in and get it reinstalled. Back on our driver's side, you look on our floor here, we're gonna have a grommet, and you can take a flathead screwdriver and just pop that out. I'm gonna hold on to it for now. But what you're gonna do, the kit's gonna come with this big bundle of power wire. You can take this and there's another hole right below this one. But what you want to do is just feed that down to the underside of your vehicle. And I'm going to push this all the way down until I have maybe, you know, a couple foot or so to work with left up here. With a couple of foot of wire to work with up top here, I took that grommet that we removed and just drilled a hole in the middle of it. And I'm going to put that over the end of the wire. Just push it back into place, you know, pop that back in. And what we can do is take the end of this wire, just strip the insulation back a little bit, give the wire a twist, and this is how we're going to make our electrical connections, whether it be a butt connector, or ring terminal, what have you. Take our butt connector, and I chose to upgrade to the heat shrink style. These ends will seal up and help protect against corrosion and stuff a little bit better, but ones that come in the kit will work just fine. I just like to tape them up good after I make the connection. But take the bare end, place it into the butt connector. I'll crimp this down. Grab the other end of the butt connector. And this will get hooked up to the black wire coming out of our converter box there. With that connection made, and with this heat shrink style, what you would do is come back with your heat source and seal up the ends. I did tape up our electrical connection just for good measure, and now we can secure our converter box here. And I think what I'm going to do, let's put it right here on this little flat part. And so I took a zip tie, there's this hole there, I put it through that. And I'm also going to use the included sticky tape they give you. So I cleaned off this surface with some rubbing alcohol, let it dry. That way we get good adhesion. Did the same thing on this surface. So we'll get that in place. And then tighten up our zip tie here. So I did a couple things where we put our power wire through that little grommet. I came back, put silicone on it, just kind of zip tied everything up. And then for our green wire that we ran over, the way I secured it, which believe it or not, this works really well. I've done it a lot. So you just don't really have a good place to zip tie anything. I use packing tape and tape this wire to the body of our vehicle all the way across. And as far as this four-way flat wire is concerned, we're just kind of going to let this kind of hang in the spare tire compartment area for the time being. Moving to the underside of our vehicle now, we can route that power wire up into the engine compartment. And so this is a hole it came out of. And what I did, I just took some wire loom, put it over the wire to help protect it. You know, we don't want it rubbing up on this metal edge. What you can always do too is, if you don't have this wire loom or nothing like that, you can always take that silicone and fill that up real good, let it dry, and that'll create a barrier too, almost like a little grommet for it. But I just chose to use this loom. Make sure you keep it nice and tight right here. You know, you don't want to get it hung up in our spring, but there's really no other way around it. So did that, routed it up this way and through here. Now you may have an underbody panel covering all this up. We did. Pretty easy if you want to lower it to make it give you more room. There's just some fasteners located kind of throughout. You pry down on the head of them, pull them out. It's not a big deal there, but use zip ties every now and again to secure the power wire. And just followed our lines here. To where it's going to kind of start to loop around and go up into the engine compartment. And one of the ways, if you're having a hard time, it's pretty open, you can usually just kind of feed it up there, but if you're having a hard time getting it in place, you can always go up top and take what's called the fish wire. So you can use another piece of wire or tubing or a metal coat hanger if you straighten it out. Drop it down from the top, and then you can tape your wire to it down here and pull it right up into position. Moving into our engine compartment, this is where our power wire came up, and I ran it over here by our battery and cut it to length, and then used a butt connector there to pair the two together. And so I'll just throw some tape on this real quick here to give it an extra layer of protection. And when you're doing this, make sure that the fuse is not installed into the holder just yet. But on the other end, you'll crimp on a ring terminal. And then if we look underneath our red cover there, we're going to have a nut. And we can remove it with a 10 millimeter. Sometimes too, I can't remember if these Hondas do it or not, but the nut won't come completely off. It'll just kind of stop. But ours did. If you go to remove this nut and it stops at the very end and it feels like you have to force it off, what you can do is take your ring terminal, cut a little opening in it, and instead of forcing that nut to come off, you can slide this behind it, tighten the nut back down. But since ours was able to get completely removed, I'm going to slide the ring terminal over that post there. So now that that's all snug, we can grab the fuse and place it into the holder. Before we put all of our panels and everything back together in the back of our vehicle, I like to test the wiring to make sure that it's working properly. And I like to use a tester like this too, as opposed to just hooking up to a trailer or something. And I say it because if the trailer happens to have any issues, it might mislead you. I'm thinking it's something you did on the Honda side. But with that in mind, we'll try our left turn signal, our right turn signal. We'll hit our brakes and turn on our running lights. Now that we verified everything works, I reinstalled and resecured all of our paneling the opposite way that we removed it. And as far as the 4-way flat connector goes, I'm just going to store that in our little foam compartment there underneath of our floor covering. So get this in place here. Close up our hatch. And with that done, that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring harness on our 2019 Honda Fit.